Imagine grabbing your phone, your absolute lifeline, right? And suddenly, every single text label, menu, and alert is in Danish. Unless you actually speak Danish, utter panic sets in. So today, we are taking a quick reference guide on navigating a Danish smartphone interface and, well, using it to decode something much bigger.
Yeah, it forces a really interesting experiment, I think. We're looking at how universal UI design and spatial gestures basically save us when language completely fails.
Right, exactly. Take away that linguistic safety net, and you immediately see the raw bones of the operating system.
We realize just how much we rely on physical affordances rather than, actually reading the screen.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Because if you need an app, the guide points out two options. You can tap the bottom search bar, which says SUG, right? SO with a slash, then G. Or you can just swipe down on the home screen.
Yeah, the classic downward swipe.
I'm just struck by the redundancy there. Like, why build a physical bypass for a basic search bar?
Well, because text requires cognitive load, right? And translation breaks down. Seg is just Danish for search.
Right.
But if you don't know that, a text button becomes a roadblock.
Yeah.
The downward swipe is pure spatial logic. It literally doesn't care about the system language.
That makes sense. Muscle memory processes way faster than linguistic decoding.
Exactly. Tech companies intentionally bake in these physical bypasses for that exact reason.
It reminds me of navigating a massive international airport.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Yeah, because you aren't constantly translating the signs for Terminal C, right? You just follow the visual cues, like the flow of the crowd, the widening of the hallways, the universal iconography.
Right, the architecture dictates the behavior.
Yeah.
And smartphone OS designers use that exact same environmental wayfinding.
The environment itself physically funnels you to your destination.
Yes. For instance, if that downward swipe doesn't find what you need, the source guide mentions swiping all the way to the left to hit the app library.
Oh, right, swiping left.
Yeah, you literally just scroll until you hit a digital wall, basically, where everything is stored. You don't need a sign that says library.
No, because the physical boundary of the digital space tells you that you've reached the end of the line.
Exactly.
But finding an app is only half the battle, right? Like, if I want to fix a cluttered screen, I'd normally go looking for a settings menu.
Good luck finding display settings in Danish.
Right. It sounds impossible. But our source says to bypass menus entirely and just long press an app to find the phrase rediger startskarm.
Right, which means edit home screen. But notice how you actually access it? You don't read through a directory.
You apply physical pressure.
Exactly. Long pressing changes the fundamental state of the interface, right? It goes from a static display into an interactive sandbox.
And the icons start jiggling.
Yes. That visual feedback instantly signals that the rules of gravity on the screen have changed. It allows you to reorganize.
I always assumed the jiggling icons were just a quirky design choice.
A lot of people do, yeah.
But it's actually a non-verbal indicator of a state change. That makes perfect sense. But here is where I get slightly confused by the guy's logic.
Okay, what part?
Well, it tells us to use rediger startskarm to move things, but it doesn't give a Danish translation for creating a folder.
No, it doesn't.
It just says to drag one app onto another. Why skip the terminology entirely there?
Because, well, no terminology is required, and that's really the brilliance of spatial UI. The software recognizes the physical proximity of two icons.
Like them occupying the same space.
Exactly, occupying the same coordinate space, and it automatically creates a container for them. It treats digital objects like physical blocks.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. If you stack 2 blocks on a desk, they become a pile. If you drag 2 apps together, they become a folder. It completely bypasses language in favor of mimicking physical reality.
So the gesture itself becomes the command syntax. We are literally speaking to the phone through proximity and touch.
Right.
That is fascinating. So let's quickly distill this toolkit down for the listener.
Sounds good.
If your interface ever goes rogue and switches to Danish, you aren't locked out. You just swipe down or look for SIG to search.
Yep, and swipe left until you hit the wall for your app library.
Right, and then long press to find rediger startskarm to shift into edit mode.
And just smash apps together to build folders.
I love that. The fact that those 4 physical actions can completely override a language barrier shows just how heavily modern tech leans into spatial reasoning.
Oh, absolutely. The words are entirely secondary.
Which leaves you with a fascinating question to chew on today. If you can organize and navigate a highly complex computer in a language you don't even speak just by swiping and dragging,
Right.
how much of your daily technology use actually involves reading? versus sheer unconscious spatial muscle memory.
That's a great point.
Think about that the next time you unlock your screen.